doing, folks? Welcome to this workshop on Frailing the Blues, playing some blues music using Frailing banjo technique. And if you want to know what the blues is, good luck. You can get people arguing for days at a time about what the blues is. No one's really figured all that out, except that it's cool. So rather than go into a whole bunch of history stuff, let's just do something really cool off the bat. Grab a slide. Now a slide can be a guitar slide like this. This is a reproduction of a core seeding bottle. You can use a harmonica. And if you have nothing laying around, you can always grab the handle of a spoon and slide on the strings with that. Use whatever you've got. If you like the sound, go to the music store, pick up a guitar slide. If you're wearing a slide, drop it on your pinky. Now, I'm assuming you know the basic Frailing strum. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to play the first string with the slide. Just get an idea how that feels, how it sounds. Don't worry about hitting more than one string. Sometimes hitting 2 or 3 strings at one time is a good thing. Treat your accidents like potentially cool stuff. Just slide from the 2nd fret to the 5th fret. Now go to the 3rd string, 2nd fret, slide. Now if you look, what my hand's doing, I'm swinging an arc. I'm getting this fret slide sort of across the fret. I'm not really worrying about how accurate it is because I can move it to change the note. It's almost like playing a fretless banjo in some ways. You're not fretting the strings, you're just touching the slide to the string to get a sound. It's not a note as much as it is a sound. So we're going to go to the 1st string, 3rd string. Get that 3rd string thing going. And try the 4th string. Then go down to the 5th fret, get a C chord. Put all that together. Now go to the 3rd fret and go back to your lick. 1st string, 3rd string, 4th string. And mix your Frailing strum in. Really cool sounding stuff without a lot of effort. And I wanted to start with that because part of the trick to getting into that blues groove on the 5-string banjo is just taking a really cool idea and playing around with it. The only thing you want to do in all of this is try to make musical sense. If you're in 4/4 time, keep that count. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Other than that, anything's game. And something as simple as throwing a slide in your little finger can really change the whole flavor, the whole Frailing banjo experience. And if you look at it from this perspective, without the slide, same pattern. 1st string to the 5th fret, 1st string on the 2nd fret to the 5th fret. It just sounds like regular banjo playing. Mix the slide in, it changes the flavor. So as we go through this workshop, keep grabbing a slide. Try anything, a pocket knife, a harmonica. You're going to need a harmonica later on in this workshop. Because what happened with the blues, and it started on the banjo, is people played around with rhythmic and melodic ideas and came up with some really cool stuff. So in this workshop, what I want to share with you is some techniques to get that blues sound, but also that spirit of adventure to grab the banjo and try something different. All right? Now, as I said earlier, I'm assuming through this workshop that you have your basic frailing skills down cold. If you think you have them down cold, odds are you probably don't. You know, it's one thing to be able to play a chord over 2/8 notes. You've got to have this down to the point where you just play it smooth. Because our first song depends on keeping this frailing strum solid. And what we're going to do is we're going to play a song called Samson and Delilah together. And this is really cool because it's so easy. Because it's a one-chord song. The song was recorded by a guy named Blind Willie Johnson, Baptist preacher down in Texas, probably one of the greatest of all the blues musicians of his time. And his music is amazingly powerful because it's so simple. And when Reverend Gary Davis recorded this later on, he kept that simplicity. And Reverend Gary Davis was a great guitar player. I mean, you want to get some of his records and really enjoy them. But he threw some extra licks in, and it never measured up to the power of the Blind Willie Johnson performance. It's a great song, and it's about Delilah turning the tables on Samson. And the cool thing is, there's one chord. So the first thing we want to do is get the melody down. So just start clapping your hands. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. This does not change. Keep this going. And run through the first verse with me a couple times. You can find the lyrics to this song all over the web because a lot of people have recorded this over the years. Delilah was a woman, she was tall and fair. She had good looks, God knows, and coal black hair. Delilah, she gained old Samson's mind. When he first saw that woman, Lord, he lost his mind. So the lyrics are, Delilah was a woman, she was fine and fair. She had good looks, God knows, and coal black hair. Delilah, she gained old Samson's mind. When he first saw that woman, you know he lost his mind. And try going through that a few times, keeping that steady. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we go to the banjo. And this is where things get a little bit interesting. We're not going to be changing chords. That whole verse, we're running through a G chord. And here we get to the real essence of the blues. All we're going to do, Delilah was a woman, she was fine and fair, had good looks, God knows, and coal black hair. All we're doing is just hit a string, strum down, roll the thumb up the 5th string. Delilah had a woman, she was fine and fair, had good looks, God knows, and coal black hair. Delilah, she gained old Samson's mind. When he first saw that woman, no, he lost his mind. Now right now you're thinking, what is this? We're just running a G chord and we're singing a song. We're about ready to get really interesting because what's going to happen is our voice is going to carry the melody. Our picking hand is going to keep the rhythm. Our fretting hand is going to just throw in some stuff to accent whatever we want in the melody. See, there's no tablature for this song because you can't tab it out. It's a one-chord song. So if we throw some licks in on the 4th and 3rd string at the 3rd fret, just listen to how that sounds. 4th string open, 4th string at the 3rd fret, 3rd string open, 3rd string at the 3rd fret. Now if we just throw some hammer-ons on the 4th and 3rd strings at the 3rd fret, everything changes. Our voice is carrying the melody. The banjo is carrying the rhythm. It's laying down a rhythmic pulse. And our fretting hand is coming in just to throw some off notes in there to make things interesting. Delilah was a woman, she was fine and fair, had good looks, God knows, and cold black hair. That's the trick. It's not looking for tablature. It's not memorizing the notes of the song. There's a story being told here. Remember, this was a blues song written by a preacher. He wanted to get the story of Samson's betrayal across to his parishioners. Rhythm, a simple message. The voice isn't doing anything fancy. I throw some inflections in because I've listened to the record so many times. But if you just sing it straight, your way, it's still, that doesn't change. And we throw these little blues licks in. Everything changes. And suddenly, what's very, very simple, to a person listening and seeing you play, they look at you, how are you doing that? And it's the magic of simple things. So let's try it together. We'll just start off singing that verse, playing a simple Frailing pattern. It can be any string you want. Don't worry about what string to hit. Feel it. Listen to how every string sounds and get a feel for it. Find a way that makes you happy. Delilah was a woman, she was fine and fair, had good looks, God knows, and cold black hair. Delilah, she gained old Samson's mind when he first saw that woman, Lord, he lost his mind. Let's try it with some hammer-ons. I'm not going to tell you where to put the hammer-ons in. And if you're watching this DVD closely, you're going to see that I'm playing some rests. In the next lesson, we're going to be talking a lot about rests. You can try it on your own right now, or just keep a straight Frailing rhythm going. All right? There's no rules here. We're keeping things within the context of making musical sense. That's it. There's no right or wrong way to play this song. I'm going to be throwing the hammer on, 4th string 3rd fret, 3rd string 3rd fret. Delilah was a woman, she was fine and fair, had good looks, God knows, and cold black hair. Delilah, she gained old Samson's mind when he first saw that woman, oh, he lost his mind. See how that changes everything? And that's the first step to getting the blues. When I was a kid growing up in Philadelphia, it was really hard at first when I started exploring the blues, because I fell for the blues head over heels. I fell in love with the music. And I wanted to play so bad. And everybody I talked to said that to learn the blues, you had to get the tab file for whatever song you wanted and memorize everything note for note. And what happened was, I tried that. And it was really crazy because I had all the notes down, but I couldn't get the groove in. I couldn't get the feeling and emotion. Because what was happening was, I was trying to remember what note to play. And then the signal had to go from my brain down to this hand, and my brain down to that hand. And even when the connections happened, there was enough of a delay that it wasn't the blues anymore. It was, as one guy put it in a music store in Philadelphia, it sounded like somebody trying to hurt his feelings. I felt about that big until he just shook me a little bit and he said, just get the rhythm down. And once that's automatic, it's going to happen. So your first assignment, we're going to come back to Samson and Delilah later on in this workshop and go over the chorus, because there is a C chord in the chorus. But as you go through this workshop with me, there's nothing to memorize. You've done all the basic work, hopefully. You're playing the basic Frailing strum. Now we've got to use it. And the reason you practiced wasn't to memorize notes. It was to be able to keep this going without thinking about it. So the rest of your brain is free to explore and express yourself and do all those things the blues is supposed to do. Get people dancing, tell your story. Or in the case of Blind Willie Johnson, take a biblical story and share it with his parishioners in a way that they never were going to forget. It's more powerful than the movies. It's more powerful than writing it down because it moves your body. So practice that before you go to the next chapter. Keep a steady, frailing rhythm. I'll go through this with you one more time. And just try the first verse of Samson and Delilah. Delilah was a woman, she was fine and fair, had good looks, God knows, and coal black hair. Then try it again with the hammer-ons. Delilah was a woman, she was fine and fair, had good looks, God knows, and coal black hair. And then don't be afraid. Blind Willie Johnson was an amazing slide player. Don't be afraid to grab the slide. Delilah was a woman, she was fine and fair, had good looks, God knows, and coal black hair. All I'm doing there is taking the slide, I'm dropping a little bit ahead of the 2nd fret, and I'm sliding it just before the 3rd fret. Notice how it changes everything? We know it's dead simple. We just went through it together. But when somebody's walking by and you put your shades on, sit in the corner with a hat in front of you with some, put some quarters in it. When you're busking, always throw some change in the case before you open it up. People see money, they throw money in. And you thank Harmonica Joe for that. Keep that groove going. People walk by and they look at that blues guy. They don't say, look at that white guy trying to play the blues. They say, look at that blues guy. And they don't say, look at that guy playing blues in the banjo. They say, look at that guy playing the blues. Look at that gal playing the blues. Because once it clicks, all those stereotypes fly out the window. You're cool. There's no need for explanations. There's no need for apologies. You just... I was a woman, she was fine and fair, had good looks, God knows, and cold black hair. So the next chapter, we've got some technical stuff to work on. We've got rests, we've got slides, we've got bends. And it's going to be tough in some parts because we're not used to thinking in rests, the notes that you don't play. As you work on that, keep going back to what we just looked at. A really powerful song, a really powerful performance, and it's easy. Anytime this stuff starts to seem complicated, hit the brakes, look at it again. Work smarter, not harder. So I will see you in the next chapter. This is going to be a lot of fun. Hey, we're already having fun, right? So just keep working on that. I will see you in a little bit.